Hi, my name is Andrew Deutscher, and I am excited and delighted to partner with Aramex International and the HR team in bringing to you this introduction, plus a 10-part series on building and sustaining your energy. So over the next 10 episodes, we're going to be exploring energy management. Energy management is simply the skillful management of energy across your physical, emotional, and mental capacity. It's a process to help guide you to not only be more effective and productive in your work, but more importantly, to build in more time and space for the things that are most important to you. So what do we mean by energy management? Well, let me share it with you in the form of a couple of questions for you to reflect upon, and then a short story. How much energy does it take to live your life? Think about that question. How much energy does it take to navigate your personal and professional life? However you think about energy right now. And the second question is, how much time and attention do you spend on ensuring that you have enough of that energy? Well, if you're like me in answering those questions, a lot of energy and not so much time and attention on ensuring you renew it, then you're not alone. You are now living and operating in the most difficult era in our history of work. That is highlighted by evidence around our emotional angst and stress, mental overwhelm, levels of burnout. And we need to figure out a path forward. How are we going to manage ourselves in the face of incredible demands? So this was a big challenge for me. Take you back about 10 years when I was a senior executive at Sony Pictures. Part of my job was traveling about 45 weeks a year to sell our programming. This one particular week I got home. I was particularly exhausted, emotionally disconnected, and mentally scattered. But as I walked in the door, my 5-year-old son came running up to me, gave me a quick bolt of energy, just how excited he was to see me, and he asked me to push him on the swing. Now, I can tell you in that moment, that is not something that I wanted to do. I was tired, I just wanted to relax, but I wasn't going to say no in that moment. So there I was, outside on the swing, pushing him, my mind 1,000 miles away, still dressed in a suit. And within a few moments, my leg began to buzz, so I reached in and I grabbed my smartphone, and I'm looking at my phone and I'm pushing him on the swing. Does that look somewhat familiar to you, or some variation of that? Again, you're not alone. He must have said it a few times because I finally heard it as, "Dad," and then he followed up with, "Why do you go to work if you do work at home?" That was a tough one for me. A very simple question that really hit pretty hard. We find ourselves in these gray zones quite often today, doing a disservice to both and ourselves in the process. And when we find ourselves in those zones, it's largely reactive. We're not really present to it. We're not aware of the consequences of how we're showing up, certainly how we may be impacting others. But I'm here to tell you that that story, even as much as it may relate to a similar story of your own, is the shared experience today. But it's just the symptom. It's the symptom of a bigger problem. And we can't really solve that problem until we really understand fundamentally what is the root cause. Well, the root cause, as you're looking here, is simply when demand overwhelms our capacity to meet it. What you're looking at here is really stress. If you think about managing demands in your life, personal, professional, the meetings, the emails, the things that you're trying to keep up with, the home life, all of those things make up the demands in our life. And they're at a high level. And from what I've experienced, they mostly only still tend to go higher. It doesn't really feel like, I'm sure, that your demands are all of a sudden going to be reduced. But the way we try to meet those demands is often not really the best nor the most sustainable way to meet those challenges. In fact, at a certain age, our capacity to meet demands begins to diminish. Just our physical capacity alone after the age of 30 is compromised in the absence of interventions such as exercise and movement and nutrition and sleep, among other things. So this is the underlying challenge we're faced with, is when demand exceeds our capacity to meet it. And we take capacity for granted. We assume there'll always be more where that came from. The capacity is really your energy. It's the fuel in your tank. And today we're expected to juggle more tasks, stay more connected, respond more quickly, get more done than ever before. Is it any real surprise we're more overwhelmed, anxious, and distracted than ever before? So again, if we want to try to solve these symptoms, these behaviors where we find ourselves just trying to keep up and where we're very reactive to the things that are happening around us, and we know it's not sustainable, and we know that we're not optimizing our health and our performance, and things feel like they're getting away from us, like they have certainly felt for me during that time I just shared. First, we need to get organized around what is the problem in which these symptoms are coming from. Well, as I share this work and this content in many sessions with organizations around the world, it's really showing up as a core problem. What's the real problem? The real problem today is keeping up with and staying ahead of the pace of change in a boundaryless world. We've lost our boundaries. Now, they were beginning to be eradicated before the pandemic, but now the acceleration of the work-blended home reality has been thrust upon us, and we didn't really stop long enough to say, how do we really want to work in this new environment? So it is staying ahead of and keeping up with the pace of change in a boundaryless world, but that's only part of the problem. The other piece is while also creating time and space for the people and the things that matter most to us, because that's what's really important. And many times we feel like we're sacrificing one for the other and constantly making this exchange. Now, here's the good news. As we move forward over the next 10 episodes, we are really going to break down, what does energy mean? What is its relationship to time? And what are the different types of energy that you can draw upon to make sure you're building capacity to meet the growing and complex demands that are outside of you? I am thrilled to join you in this process. I'm excited to hear about your reactions to it. I'm looking forward to partnering with you and Aramex with each of these successive episodes to ensure that it's meeting your needs and helping you not only build energy, but helping you to sustain that energy over time. And again, not just for the difference that it can make in your work life, but more importantly, so that you create time and space for the things that are truly important to you. They're mutually inextricable. We really can't thrive in one unless we are managing both. And I look forward to bringing that to you and making that a reality in your life. Again, my name is Andrew Deutscher. My company is Regenerate, and you can email me at andrew.deutscher@regenerate.works. I look forward to partnering with you on this series, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.